Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Pay very close attention to how our respective yield curves are maneuvering, and obviously with your background and with the kind of talent you have around you, that's not going to be very difficult to do. But I think it's more of a combination necessarily going back to the yen, because I think the current Japanese political regime is different than what we've seen in years past, and that may change some of the dynamics behind how the yen maneuvers through this next currency cycle. Any other questions?
Hey, John, could you go through that? Because I think a lot of our listeners might not know what's changed in Japan over after the election. Can you do that?
The new party, yeah, sure. New party came into effect back in August, and they've been much more capitalist focused. Japan, for a long period of time, is defined by what we call the keiretsu, or a series of strong relationships. I lived in Japan for 5 years, worked at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo. And the LDP, or Liberal Democratic Party, has had a very strong influence on Parliament over there, and on just how business gets done. It's made it very difficult for new ideas and for new commerce to take place without uprooting the old economic infrastructure. And there's signs that a lot of that sentiment, or not a lot, at least as fast as one can hope for, there's a new sentiment and perspective taking place in Japan that may be altering or may have a fundamental impact on what in essence is a 20-year economic downturn for the Japanese. And if the Japanese begin to get going again economically, their rates are not going to stay at zero. And so while they served as just a great funding currency from 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, when risk appetite came back, it was the yen that was the driver behind that. In August, the correlation between a strong yen and a weak equity market really broke off rather considerably with the new party that took office. And so I think that when we talk about correlation, we talk about spread trading. For as important as correlation is, correlation can eventually come undone as well. And especially when trying to spread cross asset classes. I mean, the Euro Stoxx 50 and the S&P 500, which is a spread that I put on fairly regularly. That's less likely to diverge, but nonetheless, that also has its period of time as well, where one of those equity indexes will outperform the other pretty strongly. So when I talk about the yen and the new regime, that's what I'm referring to, Steve.
Thanks, John.
Looks like we kept most everyone. It's good. I love the questions. I love this is, for me, presenting, guys, it's just great to get out and to be, and because this ultimately requires you to do a lot of thinking. I'm about to present in front of a group of my colleagues and a group of traders, and the chance to go over stuff. You invariably come up with a trade idea or two. Even this right here, when I was putting this together over the last couple of weeks, and ultimately last Thursday, it's just a great exercise. So I want to thank all of you guys for providing the catalyst and the stimulus for me to go one level deeper, and encourage all of you next Thursday to attend my Going Pro workshop. It's free, and I think you'll get a lot out of it, no matter where you're at.
John, I want to thank you. You did a great job. You always do. You presented a ton of material. You did it in a very organized fashion, and I would urge everyone to come and go sign up at info@osotrading.com and go and listen to John, because John, as he said, he's trading the markets each and every day. I know a lot of you are, some of you aren't, and if you are aspiring to do that, John's a great resource, so go and check it out. John, if you have any closing comments, I'd love for you to just give us any comments.
Non-farm payroll on Friday. It's going to be a mover, so don't get too stuck one way or the other before then. Otherwise, I'll see everyone next Thursday, January 14th. Thanks a lot, guys. God bless.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. That was John Netto. John talked about balancing volatility across a lot of different asset classes. I just want to remind everyone that we at the ISC are committed to education, so we bring in guests like John and other guests. John Person's another one, Jack Crooks, Tony Hansen. So we bring in these guests to educate all of you so you could decide for yourself which kind of strategies make sense for you so you understand the nuances of trading. Really, really important. So we're doing that. We'll be doing a lot of that in 2010. We did that, of course, in 2009. I'll be doing a back to basics presentation where I'm going to be speaking 8 different times in the first couple of months. In fact, tomorrow, or Thursday I should say, will be the first one. Back to basic. What's the call? What's the put? Getting a question, and the question is, do ISCFX options price in interest rate differentials? Interesting question, because I just finished this presentation. I'm going to deliver, I believe it's late February or early March, on interest rate differentials. So I'll be talking about how, yes, all the ISCFX options do take into account the interest rate differentials, and I'll explain that. That's part of our Back to Basics series. Also, we have Trading Central from Europe, and they'll be talking about how they make trading recommendations. So many different ways for you, whether you're looking for trading recommendations, how you might look at making your own forecast, looking at options for different strategies, understanding more about the markets, the option markets themselves. Tons of information that will be disseminated in 2010. We will have, I think it's somewhere about 75 or 80 webinars. So please sign up for all of them. There'll be Tuesdays, times Wednesdays, Thursdays. There'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 or 2 a week. And as I said, we might even have 3 in 1 week, as we have tons of special guests that love to share their information. That's what John was just talking about. John loves to impart wisdom on everyone else. So, I mean, he came through the trading ranks the hard way, learning himself. Now he likes to teach. So he's trading, teaching. Come and join us at the ISC. Next webinar is next Thursday, 2 days from now, 4:30 Eastern Time. And I'll be talking about back to basics. So we'll start, what is the call option? What is the put option? What's the strike price? And the next presentation will be, which strike price should you trade? How is leverage in the options market? How do you look at leverage relative to a lot of you that trade in the spot market? I know that, you can look at that at 50 to 100 to 1, 200 to 1. We don't look at it like that in the options market, but I'll talk about leverage in the options market. So please join us. Want to wish all of you a Happy New Year. This is our first of many, many webinars. Want to thank John Netto again for all the work that he did. He did a great job. Thank all of you for your questions. This will be posted by archive tomorrow, so you can check it out. And I just, again, want to thank all of you for joining us. And please come back real soon, hopefully Thursday, so you can learn more about ISCFX options and how you could use them for your own benefit, whether you're hedging, whether you're speculating, whether you're maybe looking at it as a way to diversify over different asset classes. Tons of ways to look at it. Please join us again. Thursday, 4:30 is our next webinar, and we'll be giving a lot more, tons of information in that webinar and in future webinars. So again, this is your host, Steve Meisinger, saying have a great evening, safe trading day tomorrow, and please join us again on Thursday. If you can't make it, jump on the archive. Thanks so much. And John, thank you very much. John Netto did a great job talking about balancing volatility across asset classes. This is Steve Meisinger, your host for the ISC webinar series, saying have a great evening. Bye now.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.isc.com/podcasts.